Wow, long time coming. Long time coming. And
A very long time coming.
you know what? Shout out to Miss Selfish for being a scaredy cat by not pulling
Child.
up. I'm not
Well,
saying
maybe this one might motivate her.
I hope so. Jocelyn. Jocelyn. I ain't saying no names. I ain't saying no names. But we're here. We're here. First of all, welcome to you, Miss Cynthia. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Glad you're here because I call this platform that I have now the break room. And the reason why I call it the break room, BRAKE, is because I feel like it's a platform where it allows people to stop, take a break, reassess, reflect, and really sit back and wonder where they are now and where they're going. And so welcome to the break room. Take a break.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're here because, like I said, it's a long time coming, me and you doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
honored. I'm very honored to be here with you. I want to actually open up with personal experience. So, like last night, I went to go visit my mom, Dukes, my parents. I went to go visit them, and when I went to go visit them, I just wanted to do like a surprise visit because I've been on some like family stuff lately in my head where I'm like, yo, I'm feeling guilty. Like I don't see my mom is enough, my parents enough,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I need to because time is ticking.
Yeah.
The viejos, the viejas, and the old heads and the grumbles, they're they only have so much time left on this earth.
No, yeah, for sure. I feel that way about my grandmother in Puerto Rico. I haven't seen her in like 4 years, more than that.
Yeah, yeah. And you have a brother in Puerto Rico, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that because damn, those Bad Bunny tickets. But you need like a mortgage for that. But yeah, I wanted to go visit my parents, and my parents now occupy my old room that I grew up in. They left their room. I don't know why, but they left their room, and now they're in my old room. So,
Interesting.
mind you, sidebar, my room growing up, my room had a fire escape. So, I mean, I hope my mom don't see this, but I used to put a tire under the fire escape where the ladder is. So
Mm-hmm.
I was out nightly, like you
Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
know what I'm saying? I was out nightly and I had good memories in that room. Good memories. But my mom was like, yo, I was cleaning out the closet, your old closet, and she had like a stack, like a book bag, like a JanSport of like all these old letters from like just girls in my class or girl
Love letters.
exes. And mind you, I didn't really go through them because I was like, I got time for this. But I saw the stacks. I'm like, wow, okay. I said, when I come back, I'll get rid of them. She goes, I can do it right now. I said, no, 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 no. Oh, I'll get rid of them. Just leave it
Mm-hmm.
there. I'll leave you reading there like, what the fuck? Pantyhose. I love you, Cisco. What's this? But anyway, so I was talking about that today. Because we're both colleagues. That's outside of just being friends, we're also colleagues. So I was talking to other colleagues, younger ones, because we're both in our 30s. Uh, and I asked them, like, hey, like, did you guys write letters when y'all were in high school? And these are people in their 20s, mind you. And
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, no, we didn't write letters, maybe notes here and there, but not letters. And I was like, no wonder y'all don't know how to articulate yourselves when it comes to emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I brought up Aaliyah's song 4 Page Letter, and I was like, yo, a 4 page letter to me was nothing. Like when I used to get to homeroom or get to school, and I'd see a letter right in my locker waiting for me, hanging out. And oh, here we go. I'd read it,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then I would of course respond right back. And I realized that when you're forced to be a writer, especially like in long form 20, 25 years ago, talking to someone, it's not like texting where it's an instant conversation back and forth and you're given content immediately to respond to. Where if it's a letter, especially if it's two,
It's
three, four,
deeper.
not only is it deeper, but you're forced to do long form writing where you're not just saying something quick, but you're actually divulging more about yourself to the person. You're professing things, you're sharing things, you're learning to be more vulnerable with your writing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important because you learn how to just express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think folks today, not just the 20-year-olds, but even some of the 30 something year olds, I think they don't know how to express themselves. And me and you have had conversations about dating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, and you've dated older folks, you've dated folks a little younger. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you have told me in passing that you're frustrated with how guys don't know how to. express themselves, or they're a little, what's the word you used today? Sassy?
Very sassy.
Okay. So, very sassy. Yeah, sassy, passionate princess. But, but
That's fire.
let, I come in peace. Let me give you the floor so you can express yourself and tell me, what do you mean by, what's the dating market like today for a young Cynthia, for a young lady in the scene? What's it like? What are you seeing? What are you dissatisfied with? What's good, bad, ugly? Talk to me.
I mean, we've spoke a lot about this, and like I said, just guys nowadays are just super sassy. Like they feel like they're the prize. They feel like they wanna be courted. They wanna get the princess treatment, stuff like that. They think because they make a certain amount of money that the girls are supposed to be like trying to win them over and stuff like that. It's just everything is just backwards. Like basically men, I feel like men nowadays, they don't want to hunt, they want to be hunted.
Mm, they don't want to hunt. Men don't want to hunt. They want to be hunted.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's funny you say that because yesterday I was also having a conversation with a fellow colleague that you know, and the idea that we were talking about a meme I saw, and the meme was basically saying it had a bunch of old '90s love songs, and basically it's a bunch of guys who would like plead to the girl, please, baby, please, and I love you, you know how it was back in the day.
Uh-huh.
The meme was this R&B was better when men used to plead for their women, when they used to beg and plead and profess their love. So we were talking about that, and I asked her, a bunch of people, like, why aren't dudes pleading today, whether on music or in real life? And she said, she goes, well, men don't like women anymore. Men do not like women anymore. Not really. They tolerate women, they lust for women still, but do they genuinely like them? Do they want to like get to know them and really respect them and tap into them and spirit in a spiritual sense? Not really.
Well, I will play devil's advocate in the sense of I can understand some guys because like there are females out here that they just wanna get and not give. A lot of females just go out with guys to get fed, get clothes, get sneakers, things like that. So I can understand why guys get tired, but then it kind of messes it up for like the good girls. So I don't know. It's tough.
Well, let me go back to something you said earlier. You said men want to be hunted and no longer want to be the hunter.
Mhm.
Why do you think that is? I want to get into the nitty gritty of it. Why do you think today that's the like consistent thing right now where men want to be hunted? Where's this coming from, you think? Like, where do you see this coming from? I may have ideas, but I want to see what you say first.
I feel like it has to do with the mental health aspect of it
Mm,
because guys they go through a lot of things that they don't talk about and they don't express.
mm,
So when it comes to females, a lot of the times they do get taken advantage of.
mm.
So now I feel like it just makes them close more into their shell and not want to be, romanticizing women and, courting women because they don't want to get played the same way females don't want to get played. But then there are females and then there are males that they just want to play a game.
Yeah. I'm thinking, as you said this, I'm thinking about an old Dave Chappelle joke from his stand-up from 2000. I think it's called Killing Me Softly. And Dave Chappelle was talking about women and men dynamics. And he was like, yes, right, ladies, you're right. Chivalry is dead and women killed it. And he was saying something along the lines of what you're saying, where like, I guess some men are just fed up. They're fed up with having to play a certain game of like cat and mouse and some money and it's an investment. Like,
Yeah, because it is expensive, like going out to dinner is easily close to $100 if you go to like a nice restaurant, sit down, have some drinks. And that's just one night. And, depending on how much money the guy makes, it could hurt his pocket potentially, especially like if you go out more than once in a week.
right,
And then, for them to always have to come out of pocket for then the girl to end up finding out that the girl is just using them for that, or the girl then is like, oh no, I'm not really that interested. That kind of hurts.
right, right. And I remember like a few months ago, or maybe a year or two ago, there was this thing going on social media where like a girl was playing a dude a date because he took her to Cheesecake Factory, and she
Mm-hmm.
was appalled, like, oh, why you taking me to Cheesecake Factory? Like, where's
Yeah,
my,
being bougie.
yeah, being bougie? I'm just like, no matter where you go, the food's the same ultimately. There's a Mexican dude in the back hooking it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Ain't no five-star restaurant unless you really got that bread. So it is what it is. Shout out to all the chefs out there.
Those are the girls that are red flags, though. And those are the girls that don't actually like you. Because girls that actually like you, they'll be happy if you just take them to go get ice cream.
Ooh, you said red flags. So I am going to double back later and ask you what are some of your red flags in dating. So keep that in mind. I want to know. But yeah, I want to know that. But I appreciate your devil's advocate stance and perspective. Thing from what I've seen, and listen, I'm 39 going on 40 this year. I'm turning the big 4-0 this year. And I got married when I was what, 2012. So you did the math. I was literally in a sports sports analogy. A lot of times when players leave the game, like in basketball, when they retire their jersey and put it in the rafters, if they were that nice, if they were that dope, you know what I mean? They put their jersey up, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm retired, Hall of Fame, salute me. I felt like I put my jersey up early in life in the dating scene. Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out the game. I'm getting married. What's done is done. Y'all have fun out there in these streets, you know? But I definitely feel like from what I've seen afterwards, after my generation and me being out the streets, I've seen a lot of guys just like complain about the hustle and bustle of dating. Like you said, just paying for dates, investing. Recently we had Valentine's Day, and I had a colleague telling me like, "Yo, it's a trap." I feel like it's just a social bullying because I may not personally believe in this whole Valentine's Day holiday and buying chocolate and cards and candy and going out on a date. I don't necessarily want to buy into this economic marketing of the thing. But if I don't do it, my girl will look at me funny, like, that's how you feel about
Mm-hmm.
me? Like, play the game too, basically. Play the game
Yeah,
too.
social media definitely plays a part in that because, there are a lot of people that, show off, like, what their person did for them, yada, yada. And then it makes others feel like, damn, like, I guess my person doesn't really like me that much because they didn't do this or that. And, it's not always like that. Some people genuinely just don't care for it, especially if they do for you all throughout the year. Like,
Right.
this is just a made up holiday and, it puts a lot of pressure.
And who knows? I mean, maybe social media and the played a part in that young lady feeling funny style about Cheesecake Factory. Maybe she's used to seeing other people floss where they're going as a restaurant, where they're going out to eat, where they're going out to hang out. She's like, no, I want to match that energy to my home growth, to my people, to my followers. I want them to see me out and about in somewhere quote unquote fly, where maybe 60, 70 years ago, it didn't matter where you went out to eat as long as you and your mate had a good time, whether it's at a diner, a coffee shop,
Mhm.
wherever.
But
So
that's why I said that females that are like that, they don't really like the person.
I think so.
Hmm.
Well, I think so too. And I do sometimes empathize and sympathize with the guy of today, the modern man who's complaining a little more than our fathers were and our grandfathers were about dating. Like I said, guys today I hear about, like, who are my age range or younger, they're saying, like I was saying earlier, like they're complaining about the investment, the pressure too. There's a lot of men today who are vocalizing the pressures of dating. Like,
You know what it is too? To keep it 100,
yeah,
a lot of the things with females is about competition.
so women compete.
So yes, women compete. So, one female could see another female getting this, that, and the third, and they want to compete with her. So they try to make their person get more or do more for them just so she could be like, oh, well, my man did this for me and yada, yada.
Mm.
And that plays a part in it as well.
It's funny. I've heard this. I think recently I sent you some a message on IG about, I guess, women competing with each other and like friends who are women, like they still low key be competing and throwing shots at each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like perplexed by that because I know guys compete. I know guys compete, whether it's my bad. Mind you, speaking of Valentine's Day, look at this, a Valentine's Day balloon dangling on. Look at me. I'm we're giving into the marketing and the whole drama, the whole rigmarole. So we're all a part of it. But I remember, I know guys compete. I know we compete, whether it's physically with like sports, with slap boxing, fighting, strength, whatever. And then, I remember one time though, I was having a conversation with some guy friends, and I was trying to tell them like during school, during a semester, I was like telling them like, yo, I don't really check my grades. And they're like, what do you mean? I don't really be checking my grades. Like when they post scores on a test, exam, midterm, a paper, I don't really check my score. The only time I ever check my grade is at the very end or after the fact, just to make sure I pass. Like, I'm gonna pass that class, and I check. And they're like, why? And I said, well, I don't really care. Like when I'm in school, which I still am. School sucks, by the way. When I'm in school, I'm more concerned about the journey, and more important than the journey, do I get it? And if it's a paper I'm writing, do I have the content to fill up this paper but I don't really care about the grade. Oh my God, I got a 3.6 GPA. I'm not, I don't really, that's not me. So one of my boys, he was like, yo, you're bugging. I'm always on top of my shit. And I understood it. I said, sure. So, and I said to him that was triggering. I said, yo, you know what's crazy? I said, I don't compete either. Like, what do you mean? I said, I don't compete with nobody. He was like, no, everybody competes. Everybody competes. And I was like, I said, I may be involved in a competition. If I go outside on a nice sunny day and I want to play basketball with a group of guys, I'll play. I'll do my best. I'll be a great teammate. I'll do my best. But I'm not even trying to like decapitate you. It's not that serious. I'm here for the workout. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to get a good run and chill. But I did grow up with guys who were like so caught up in competition where they would fuck up the day as far as playing ball because, they be so
You take it too serious.
seriously, and then someone else is in their head and it throws them off. It's like, yo, calm down. We're here to have fun. And with fun, you'll get rhythm and get things going. So I know for me, I've never been a quote unquote competitor. Now I might be inspired by somebody like, oh shit, he's doing his thing. I got to match his speed or add some to the plate. But to compete and try to outdo somebody, I don't care about other people like that. I really don't. Like, but and I always thought that was more of a conflict that men have to go through. But what you're telling me is that women also go through mass competition as well.
Oh yeah.
So would you say, like, was it when it comes to like what was it clothes? Is it superficial stuff like clothing?
It's anything and everything, really.
Yeah.
It's one of those people want to see you do good but not better than them type of situations. And females are very catty, especially if they see you as a threat.
Especially if they see you as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your take on the current explosion in the last, 5, 10 years? No, that'd be more than 10 years. But what do you think is the influence of the BBL surgery explosion? Is that a mental? Is that a self thing? Is it internal? Is it a competitive thing? Is it a attracting others thing? Or is it just individual? Everybody's
It's
different.
everything you just said.
Really?
It's insecurity, it's competition, and it's to attract males. And the sad thing is that I know girls that got BBLs and they're still insecure. And they still don't have a man. And, it just doesn't make sense.
Why are you insecure if you invested money in yourself to get a BBL? Why would you still be insecure?
Because we spoke about this before. Guys, ultimately, they don't care about none of that. They care about who you are as a person and how you treat them and how you act with them. That whole image, I know guys that literally tell me, like, oh, I don't care for a fat ass. Like, I rather like a skinny petite girl. All of that is just image, is just something fun to play with, to look at, to smash in a nice term. That's all that is.
Hey, ladies, that's not me saying that, but let me tell you, I am saying that because I want to let y'all know the BBL community, no doubt, have no actual judgment about your monies. If you want to invest in your body because you feel like you grew up not having the shape you want and you feel like something's not right with you, go for it. It is what it is. It's your money at the end of the day. But I will say a lot of us guys, when we see a BBL, the first emoji you get through text is an ant. Like people say ant booty, ant booty, ant booty. Like the other night, I was watching a video of Escape, the R&B group Escape,
Uh-huh.
of their performance somewhere, and T.I.'s wife, I forgot her name, Tanya, I forgot her name,
Tiny.
Tiny. She was on stage. I didn't realize she had a BBL, and someone pointed it out. And yo, I swear, it looked like the letter P. Like it looked,
Uh,
like just straight, like it's just like flat, like there's a flat leg, and then
that's
just,
bad.
and it was just like, damn, like, is it worth it? Is it worth, even someone who I like as an artist, and Cardi B, I look at her every other time I see her,
Yeah, I don't know why she did that.
every other time I see her, not just her body, but her face is just like changing and changing. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's not who you were in Love and Hip Hop era.
And you know what's the thing? Being sexy isn't about how you look. It's an aura. And that's what, people in general need to understand. I know big girls that they carry that aura of being sexy, and it's like, damn girl, like you got it. You got it. Big and all, you got it.
Absolutely. And let me tell you something right now. It's it's a misnomer. It's a lie. It's a urban myth that big chicks out here are not getting broken down by some dudes.
Oh, no, they are.
Don't get it fucked up.
They are. Because there are guys that like their big girls.
Don't get it messed up. Don't get it fucked up. Like, big girls get it too. Like, everybody is getting chopped down. Like,
Uh-huh.
Lizzo's getting it right now as we speak. Somewhere right now, Lizzo's getting
Yeah,
it. You
yeah.
think? So it is what it is. But I do think that I'm fascinated by the whole Dr. Miami era, cosmetics and really plastic surgery. I'm also saddened to see sometimes people get shots in hotels and motels. They die and stuff like that, or they
Uh-huh.
defend themselves. And I'm just like, yo, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And who is the successful BBL story that they weren't already somewhat successful? Like Kardashians, they were already on. They were already
Uh-huh.
a name. Maybe Cardi, I don't know, maybe, but I don't think her BBL made her what she was. It was Bodak Yellow and her personality that flowed through the song that made you feel like, yo, I want to fuck with her. I want to rock with her music.
You know what's crazy though too, and it's not even to like throw shade or nothing like that, but like guys have told me too that girls with BBLs, their ass be stinking.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
their
I've
ass.
had a few guys tell me that.
It's probably those chemicals inside or something.
I don't know. I
Um,
do not know.
what would be the male equivalent of a BBL? Pause. Because I don't want that. I don't want
I
to.
don't know.
I don't want a deformed thing that's like an elephant trunk somewhere.
No, listen, like we said before, like if somebody's gonna fuck with you, if somebody likes you, they're not gonna care about none of that. It's just who you are as a person and the aura that you carry.
You said the aura, like you said, sex, it's sexiness, and it's a vibe. It's
Mm-hmm.
a something you carry, something you
Mm-hmm.
something you emote. It's something that you
Yes,
that's just
because another thing too is all my life I was frail, 95 pounds what?
block
But
that.
let me tell you something. Any guy that I wanted, I got.
Of course.
No ass, no titties, no nothing. Any guy, and I still got them. That's why I say like that really don't mean nothing.
Now, as you say that, let me ask you: were you at any time like not insecure, but I wish I had this, I wish I had that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's why I started going to the gym and bulking up, and now I gain my weight, and I'm happy and I'm content. But again, it's not for males because, like I said, I always got guys. It
Right.
was just more so for me. And another thing too is I was getting tired of the fact that people will always think I was way younger than what I am. So that used to bother me too, because people would be like, "La nena," and it's like, no, I'm a grown ass woman. I'm not no nena. Like,
That's Puerto Rican shit. That's some Puerto Rican shit.
yeah, yeah.
La nena. It's funny. It's funny it's funny and ironic that you say that you didn't really appreciate being thought of as younger when a lot of women want to be looked at as younger. You wanted to be taken as a mature, older woman, or at least appear that way, or be taken that way.
Well, also because I looked younger, I was attracting a lot of younger guys, and yeah, that's not what I wanted.
What's the difference between and in this day and age? What is the difference, if any, attracting or dating a younger man versus an older man?
Oof.
We got time, killer.
I dated someone that was 5 years younger than me,
What was
and I
that
would
like?
say never again.
What was that
That's why
like?
now, minimum, you could only be at least 3 years younger. Anything younger than 3 years, I'm not doing it. Absolutely not.
And why is that? What was that like?
It was just like, because he was so much younger than me, it came with a lot of immaturity. And instead of me progressing, I was regressing because I had to cater to his immaturities instead of prospering in the things that I've already learned, dealt with, and, wanted to continue on going. So it was a lot of things that kept me from doing what I wanted to do because I had to cater to that.
Yeah.
And it was unfair to me.
So would you say that, because you typically when you think of dating, you think of a man, quote unquote, leading the relationship. So are you saying that he was an effective leader because he was young, or he had bad habits that led you astray? Are you saying something like that?
I would just say more so bad habits. I wouldn't say he wasn't a bad leader because he did have good intentions, but it was just a lot of things we will clash and argue about. Like, let's say, for example, if we will argue, I'm the type of person, I need to process the situation. I need to step away and just gather my thoughts so that way I could think rationally and not react over emotion.
Mm.
But instead, his attitude was, no, we need to fix this right here, now and then, and that's it, yada yada. So we would clash, and it would make us argue and fight more because I wasn't getting the space that I needed to process, and he was just in my space, not letting me do so.
Ooh, okay. I sympathize and agree with you ultimately. And I've had to learn that what you prefer is possibly, if not the better option, at least it is a option that is important for someone like you to have, where let me process, give me time, and we'll come back at a later date. I am guilty. I am guilty of sometimes being the former, where like if there's a problem, I sort of want to get through it in a quicker fashion because one, my brain is attentive to this right now. It is aware of this, all the details, all of the ways you can possibly fix it. I'm more aware of it right now, as opposed to later. I might forget shit. I might not know what point I wanted to make. I might not know how to articulate myself later. Like if you give me time, I might just zone out and forget what happened somewhat, and then shit might not get fixed on my end. And I also make me harbor feelings, but now I can't even articulate where those feelings come from exactly. So I also feel like I've also felt like at times I'm guilty of feeling like if we do give each other a lot of space, then maybe like I'll just feel like it gives at least room open to just like explore or ignore red flags. I've
I
had
understand where you're coming from, and that's why you need a happy medium. But also, by giving the space, and if one of the people go off to explore, then that should kind of tell you, like, how much does this person actually care and value what we have going on if they're already ready to go and explore.
Well, you're right, and I think ultimately your method is probably better because it should force in theory me to also take time to truly dig deep, take notes if I have to literally write it down of what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? Is this accurate? Is this valid? These feelings and really process them like you're saying.
Yeah, because my thing is, I'm not saying like, give me a week or something. I'm just saying like, at least a day to like process everything. Because if you don't do that, and if you want to try to fix things like right there and then, sometimes like you might make a decision and then after you're like, damn, like I kind of wish I didn't do that or say that because now I feel different. And now that I have processed everything, is not what I really want.
It's funny you say that because recently I was reading an article about Miss Jackson. Her name is Miss Jackson, I guess on social media. Her name is Chantel Jackson. She was a former girlfriend of Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if she's a model. I don't know what she does for a living. But recently, in the last 2 years, she was a former girlfriend, maybe fiance of Nelly. And she recently, like a week or two ago, she was saying that she was having like a bad run with Nelly, and she wanted a break.
I saw that.
So you saw this. So I guess she said that she wanted to have this break to see if her and Nelly could work and if he would come back to her and if things would rectify itself. And
Mhm.
he said, all right, well, that's Shanti, where you at?
Ashanti was always his girl. That's what it is. And the sad truth is that a lot of the times, relationships, the guys and females too, but guys, they stay just to stay. Like they won't be in love with the person. They won't love the person. They will always have that person that they know that they love and they want to be with, but because they're where they're at, they just sit there. They sit in their shit.
You know, it's funny. I've seen that a lot with women. I've seen women like had that where they had a guy that they truly desired, right or wrong, whether he was medicine for her or cancer for her, whether he was broccoli for her or a Big Mac or a Whopper for her. But they weren't broccoli most of the time. They were actually disgusting fast food, but they liked it and they wanted that's what they wanted. And you know, it didn't work out for whatever reason, usually because the guy wasn't, he couldn't live up to the, how would I say, the relationship of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's guys out there who have swooned women, have made women fall in love with them, but they couldn't hold up their end of the bargain as a relationship, as a committed man. They could be a lover. They can knock out the park when it comes to lust. But when it comes to like the whole package of, all right, now we're committed, we're splitting bills, we're a partnership, we trust each other, and we share, we're vulnerable, they couldn't handle that. So I've seen in the past that happen a lot with women where they say, all right, well, I can't really fuck with him no more. I love him to death. I love with him. I would love for him to wake up one day, step out of it, and assume the role of a man for me. But they don't. So then they end up with another guy, and it works out, and it's good. It's fine. But they also wrestle with like, damn, I wonder what could have happened if homeboy got his shit together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I've seen that more than anything. But yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, people are living sometimes with like this duality of like what could have been, and then they kick themselves in the ass for it later. I've also seen, to your point, I've also seen a lot of men, even some married men, feel like, all right, I love her, I love my wife, I appreciate her, but I don't know if I'm in love with her, like you're saying, and I don't know if I'm here for the practicality of it all. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And to that, I say, as someone who's been married for 12, 13 years, like, after a while, you have to realize that there's a lot of dark days. There's a lot of non-sunny days, a lot of days where you got to have your umbrella on and just weather storms. But you also have to have faith that, sunny days are ahead. Every one time Dr. King, I read a quote about Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and he was talking about religion or faith, and he says, is a faith is a stairwell, is a dark stairwell walking down a basement.
Mhm.
So basically, like, you're going down the steps to this basement, you don't know where your foot lands on each step, but you're trusting that the steps are there. And you're trusting that you'll get down there safely. And I feel like a lot of people today, especially the men that we're talking about, they don't have faith in women. They feel like these chicks are whack.
Mhm.
They don't care about me. They out for my money. They don't fuck with me. And I'm not gonna put myself out there on a limb to extend myself. I'm not gonna gamble no more with my heart or my love or my finances. I'm gonna let her come to me. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, like, it's a lot of different perspectives. So it's a matter of which perspective you end up with. And that's the scary part as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine that it's scary now for people in general, guys and girls,
Oh yeah.
the date.
I'm scared myself because it's like I don't want to be in a situation where I'm with someone because I'm just settling, and I don't want to be in a situation where I'm with someone and they feel like they're settling. Cuz don't be with me if you feel like you're just settling with me. Like go find your person because ultimately we're both going to suffer. And I don't want that.
Earlier, I asked you a question. We were talking earlier, and I said, did I ask you, do you believe in love or do you believe in, oh no, I asked, do you believe in monogamy? Monogamy. What was your answer?
Eh, that
Eh.
was my answer.
So I asked you, do you believe in monogamy? And you said, where's the coming from?
Okay, so my thing is I do to an extent. I do because it's what I witnessed growing up. You know, my parents are married for 40 plus years, yada yada. But their generation is completely different from what's going on now. You know, back in the days, people would stick things out and like, you know, just go through the BS and all that. Nowadays, people be cheating. People be, you know, with a facade, like on social media, like, oh, I'm so in love with this person. I'm so happy with this person. But then in real life, they're doing them dirt.
Right, right.
So it's just a scary thing. And then it's like, you know, like I was telling you earlier, you know, how about if I'm the one that is with someone for 10 years or so, and then I'm the one that gets bored, and then I'm the one with the wandering eye, and then I fuck up?
Right, right.
Because I'm not gonna say, like, I am a faithful person, yes, but I don't know what could happen in 10 years. I don't know if the person, I end up with a person and then, you know, something happens or whatever, and I just stop liking them or whatever the case may be, and then, you know, I drift off. Because, you know, a lot of the times people always say, oh no, it's the men that cheat, yada yada. Women cheat too.
Men cheat.
Women cheat too. And honestly speaking,
Women cheat back.
it's, yeah,
If
yeah.
I don't know who does it more. I don't know who does it more. I mean, because there's different types of cheating. There's physical cheating, of course. There's
Emotional cheating.
yeah, there's definitely emotional cheating. There's different ways that people can just drift off. And what I would say is I've learned that, you know, men are dogs and women are cats. And a dog will take a shit in the street and let you see it. Like, here it is, I fucked up, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And a cat hides their shit in the kitty litter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't see what I did. Don't come by. So, you know, I have, and I think also it's sexist in a way. I've learned that men, especially in my generation and before, had looked at women as strictly dainty, angelic on a pedestal, could never have the audacity to have lust and love elsewhere and you know, be ambitious in their own right with their love and in their bedroom. So it's like, so when men do find out that shit hit the fan, they crash out harder sometimes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when a guy is cheated on, the world is crumbling. You would think aliens are coming down, like we're killing y'all. Like they're that erratic about it. When I
They don't know how to deal with it, and then a lot of the times they be bitter and they either break up with the person or they go cheat on themselves, as opposed to women where we can be more forgiving and, you know, take them back, and that's a whole other thing too.
well, you know, it's funny. Do you think I've always heard this argument, but do you feel like it's a worse crime? I've heard this. I'm not saying this is true. Do you feel like it's a worse crime, or can you sympathize when a man says it's a worse?
I know where this is going. Go ahead.
Is it a worse crime? Is it worse when a woman steps out versus a dude? Because before you answer, let me just say, I've heard people say that when a man cheats, more often than not always, but more often than not, it's a physical thing, it's a lust thing. It is
They just need to get it out.
to get it out. They're lusting with their eyes and with their loins, and they can still trick themselves into saying, "But I still love my wife or I love my girl or whatever." It's just that I need to get this out. And yo, Shorty was begging. Whereas opposed to it, when a woman cheats, it's like it's an investment. It's an emotional investment elsewhere. It is like she's attached elsewhere, and
Yeah.
it's like
Because usually when a female goes to cheat is because a lot of things have happened between her and the dude, and that's what led her to do so. As opposed to men, they see another hot girl, they're like, damn, like, and if the girl is willing to give it up, they gonna take the bait.
yeah. When I was single, I was doing all right. You know, I go wild here and there. Hit not the clubs. I'm not really a club guy growing up, but I'd hit the party scene, day parties here and there. I was just mingling. I was a bachelor, and I do well for myself. I did okay. Yo, when I got married and I put that ring on my finger, I can't tell you how many women would either subtly, if that's a word, and not so
Mm-hmm.
subtly, they would, like find a way to express this newfound appreciation for me. How much
Mm-hmm.
they fuck with me the long way. How much they are attracted to me. And I'm like, wait, what? No, I thought we just cool they loud. Like we homies and we
And
cool.
you know what's crazy about that? Not all the time, but a lot of the times, those females do that on purpose just to be spiteful to the female.
Exactly.
Because then they'll have like that power to say, oh, well, your man wanted me, or I got your man. So y'all not really that happy as you think you are. Is that catty shit I was talking about. And is that competition shit I was talking about.
Bring it
It's
back
just to
full
have
circle.
one over the female's head.
To bring it back full circle. Absolutely. I mean, don't get twisted. Guys do that too. Every other rap lyric is,
Oh, yeah.
I got your girl, I got your girl, I got your chick is at my crib. You know, I've been seeing videos now of like these dudes, these corny dudes, they'll post a video of a woman that they're messing with who has a husband or a man, and they have that guy, the husband or man, on the phone with the lady at the dude's house, and they'll have have the man order food, like the husband order food. Like, look at me. I got the chick husband ordering us food. He don't even know. I'm just like, what? Okay.
Those
Side
are bitter women.
better women and men. And
Uh-huh.
I asked myself, first of all, this is very childish. You know, we're all grown adults. We should be doing something better with our times in this. But I also asked myself, what are we achieving by doing this? I feel like you're just stunting your growth and not being more progressive with your time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we have a thing right now with our generation that we are so consumed by our ego. We are so consumed about stroking our
I
ego.
will say the people that do that are unhappy people. Happy people aren't doing that.
I'm glad you said that. Happy people aren't doing that. So why are so many people unhappy trying to stroke their egos, whether offline or online? Where's this coming from? Why are we more a loving, romantic, happy species? Why are we still doing this infighting where I gotta get one up on you and show you that I'm that shit? Where's this coming from?
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like, it could be their upbringing. It could just be their insecurities. It could just be them being miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be different factors.
It could be different factors. It could be different factors. Like you said, upbringing is definitely important. I've learned that upbringing matters as far as a man learning how to court a woman. You know, when I was a teenager, you know, I started going out. My mom didn't approve of dating. She didn't fuck with it. She did not like it. Mind you, I'm the younger son. My sister, who's older, had it harder because women always got it harder, no matter what. Women always have it harder in the household. You have a brother, so maybe you have some insight to that. Girls usually have it harder, or either girls have it harder, or the eldest has it harder, as far as just setting the tone for the family. And my sister was the eldest and a woman, so when it came to like dating growing up, my mom was like a tyrant about shit. My dad, he was it was a yin and yang. My mom was very strict. My dad was like super liberal, laid back. All right, your mom's bugging. Just take some money, go out with so and so, have a good time, but just be careful, whatever. And I know for me, having that balance in the household of a man and woman, and my mother and father at the crib, I was able to learn how to court a woman. Like I learned early from my dad, like don't take her to a movie on the first date. No, you can't talk to her. Take her to a pool hall. Take her bowling. To out to eat, but take her to an activity where y'all can converse and share perspective on things, and you might know if it's worth a second date. If you go to a movie, you're just gonna sit down for 2 hours, not talk, and then go home. So like I would learn how to court a woman through my father. And I feel like today, a lot of dudes in particular from my clan, they're not getting those reps. They're not getting that tutelage to be like, this is how you talk to ladies. This is what you say. This is how you move. This is how you impress them. This is how you be vulnerable. Listen, a woman wants to hear this. She wants to hear that. This is how you court her. Just like hold the door for her. You know, I don't know. For you as a woman, were you taught anything growing up as from your parents as far as dating, or it was just like figure it out on your own?
It was more so like figure it out on my own, but they did tell me the basics. Like, for one, my older brother, he's 10 years older. So by the time I was like in my teens, he was already out. And then, my little brother, that's a different story. But being the female, I definitely had it hard in a sense of, because my mom got pregnant young, she didn't want that for me. So it was super strict, super very everything. There was a lot of things I couldn't do.
I remember one time you told me that like your mom had you like on a tight, not a tight leash, but she was on it.
Oh yeah, there were times
Yeah. She was on
I
it.
used to I had my rebel stage for sure. Like, I will never forget. There was a time I snuck out of the house. It was like 10:30, and I had already called a cab or whatever. I snuck out, I get in the cab, and she texts me. She's like, "Where you going?" Da, da, da. I was like, "I'm going out." And she was just blowing on my phone, blowing on my phone. I got home like at 4 in the morning that day.
How old were you? How old were you?
I was like,
Teens?
yeah, late teens though, probably like 18. But she was still on it even when I was 18. Let me tell you, when I got home, that lady was in front of the building waiting for me. I was so scared.
Oh my God, old school Bronx, Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it didn't really stop me from still doing rebellious things. Overall, though, I appreciate it because now I understand why she was the way she was with me. And if it wasn't for that, my life would have been way different than what it is now.
It's funny you say that because you listen, we can't get too personal, but you share stories with me about like rebel boyfriends and the street heavy. Like were you one of those women who or young ladies who like bad boys? Like was that your type at one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there was a guy I was with for 3 years, and he was the streetest guy I've ever been with. And he's actually the guy that I ended up getting arrested with. It was that bad. And before all of that, though, like because of that, the bad boy thing, I was around things I shouldn't have been around. There were things that I've witnessed, scary things that I've witnessed. I did a lot of stupid things that now when I think about it, I'm like, yo, like I could have gotten killed or I could have gotten like some serious time just by doing this. And so, but that last incident when we actually did get locked up, yeah, that was the last straw for me and that was the last straw for my dad. After that, my dad was like, yeah, he's not welcome in the house. He's not, it's none of that. And that's when I was like, no, yeah, like I don't want to do this.
What was that like for you mentally? And you don't have to go into detail, of course. No, you don't have to go into detail. Well, what was that like for you getting arrested mentally? What was it like for you?
That was the scariest time of my life. The longest 2 years of my life because one, I had PTSD. After that situation, whenever I would hear the cops or whatever in the street, my anxiety would shoot up.
Really?
Everything, yes, it was bad. And then, you know, I don't want to say too much, but it's something I had to go to court for 2 years. And during that time, I got suspended from my job. No jobs wanted to hire me because I had an open felony case.
It was a felony
So,
case?
yeah,
Damn, I didn't know it was a felony case, but go ahead. My fault, my fault.
we'll talk about that outside of this. Yeah. I started selling stuff, to make money and I didn't know what I was doing, but I needed to make money and I was too prideful to like ask my parents for money because at the time I was like 22 and I'm like, how would I look asking my parents for money to go out? Like, no, I need to figure this shit out on my own. But it didn't go far. And like the people that would buy from me, it was guys that had a crush on me. So that's why they would buy from me.
It
It
wasn't,
didn't last
it was,
long.
it wasn't legit customers. You weren't really making your way.
Yeah. And that just wasn't who I was. That's when I realized, like, this is not who I am. Like, I was in the hole so deep. That's when I was like, no, I need to get out of this hole.
Well, with that experience you've had with that past boyfriend, um, and that everything that came with it, do you believe, do you believe in regret? Like, do you regret what happened or do you just welcome the experience? People don't believe in regrets. They be like, fuck it, whatever happened, happened. It is what it is.
No, I don't regret it because I will say I was so madly in love with that boy. I was madly, like, that was my first real love because I thought I was in love with like other boyfriends before him. But it wasn't until him that I was like, no, what I feel for him is nothing what I felt for anybody else. And I will say though that regardless of everything, I still have a lot of love for him. I still care about him. If he was to call me or knock on my door saying that he needs help with anything, I'm gonna have his back because I know he will still ride out for me for sure.
That's good. That's good. It's good to not have any bad blood with people, you know? And I try not to personally, whether it's former friends or, and I mean legit friends, former friends or other, you know? Now, there's people in my life that I'll never fuck with you no more. Like, I learned my lesson. I cannot, I, I can't fuck with you no more. I can't fuck with you. I can wish peace be unto you, like good luck, have a nice life, you know, hope you win the lottery, good for you. But I know there's people in my life I can't really like connect with no more. But I try my best not to be bitter about people anymore. I try. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I try not to. So I think it's commendable that you had that stance today with him because listen, you get me, if a girl got me arrested, nigga, we fuck you for
I
like
mean,
that.
it wasn't anything like against each other. It was just a situation. Yeah, and yeah.
I would say though, and remember, in context, you guys are very young. But I would say though, I think one of the markings and makings of being a man is always making sure your lady is protected and safe and not in harm's way no matter what. So even if you're in the street life, that I remember this old gangster, his name is Supreme. He's from Queens. And he said that he never really dated and he has a son, I think, but he never dated. He never had like serious attachments with ladies because he was like, you can't have attachments in this life. You cannot because you will have them in harm's way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand the makings of a man partially is like to make sure that your lady is not in any way going to be affected by your lifestyle because your job as a man is to protect the woman ultimately. You know what I'm saying? So I get it though. We're young. When you're young, you do stupid shit. Are you kidding me? When I was in my 20s, I was wilding the fuck out, doing mad wild, like going to certain projects I don't belong in just because she called me to tell me to come. Like, hey, like yo, there's like 6 dudes in the elevator with me, and then there's rats running around my elevator.
Nah.
Okay, so I don't know. The things we do for love and lust is crazy. It's crazy. Have you ever felt like you in dating? Have you ever felt like you had a bad investment in someone? Like you lost, like you did regret something, like you wasted your time. Because shout out to Jocelyn, who's not here right now. She's always preaching to me like, it's not a waste of time. If you with somebody and it don't work out, that's not time wasted. You still learn something out of it, and you still got something out of it. It's not waste of time. Well, I sometimes feel like, yo, sometimes you can waste your time. Sometimes someone does waste your time, but I understand and comprehend her point of view. So I ask you, have you ever felt like you wasted time with somebody or nah, it is what it is. It's all a learning experience.
So I will say there are a few incidences where I felt that way. I was very angry and I felt like, oh, I wasted my time, I wasted money. And at the time I was resentful, but now I don't really regret it because I learned those lessons and that's what stopped me from making them again. So I haven't made those mistakes again. So I feel like I needed those things to happen to me so I could just learn from it. So it's like, why am I going to regret something that I learned from when now I know better?
I get it. I get it. And listen, I comprehend that fully. I understand that. And I sort of ultimately agree. I sort of do, but I've had felt in my petty moments like I did not need to spend any time with that motherfucking bitch. Like I did
Well,
not.
okay. So I will say now, do you believe in karma? Because the thing is that I heavily believe in karma, and those people definitely got their karma, whether I seen it firsthand or I heard from it. So I guess that's what made me feel better about the situation, as into why I don't like regret it, because it's like you got what was coming to you.
I believe in small karma. I believe in miniature karma. So I believe in like if you cut somebody off on the highway and then like 10 minutes later you get into a ditch and your tire gets stuck, that's the karma that's more realistic.
Uh huh.
But I be feeling like super duper life karma, it don't be happening enough to the people it deserves to happen to. Like I've been seeing people.
Eventually, it does, though. I feel in the long run, yes, because it's not always gonna be in the same situation. It could be karma in different ways. Like, not to sound fucked up, but like sickness, them losing somebody or something.
And we get dark.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You have to be very careful what you do because it's gonna come back to you in ways that you might even expect.
When it comes to that level, what I do believe in, and maybe it is karma still, what I do believe in, look at Charlie giving me something. What I do believe, thank
Yeah.
you, even though I have no hair, but thank you. What I do believe in is like, if you have a certain lack of ethics, lack of code, a certain lifestyle that is just negative, I believe then that persistence in your negativity will then affect you. If you call that karma, then so be it. But I feel like sometimes if you swim, if you play in dirt long enough, you will get muddy. You know what I'm saying? So I believe in that, and I guess that is going to be seen as karma. But at that level, I don't think it's as cosmic or as spiritual as opposed to it just being you are just, you're doing a snow angel and shit. You know what I mean? And dirt and mud, and you're eventually going to get the stink on you. But I mean, things do come around. I mean, I'm glad you brought up karma because listen, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect by any means. I have a lot of demons. I have a lot of negativity in me. I have a lot of things I got to work on. I'm still a work in progress, but I do.
We all are.
We all are. But I do feel like day to day, I be trying to do right to avoid karma. Like, I know with me and my bad luck, when she comes back around to me, it comes back strong. Like, goddamn, I deserve this. Come on, God. So, I try my best for that on some petty shit. Like, God, take it easy on me. I've already had a rough life as it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I guess I believe in karma. But like I said, I see miniature karma day to day. The small shit. I'm like, he deserved that. Oh, I know he did. He deserved that. She deserved that. But not some big shit. But yeah. But I want to ask you a question about grief, and not necessarily grief by like death. Not that. That's very dark, and we all dealt with that kind of grief. I want to talk to you about grieving when it comes to friendships. Because it's funny. Like yesterday, I went to go visit my parents, and I had to take a moment and grieve for real because in that apartment, my aunt used to live there. My aunt, and she died of lupus, like 96, and she was someone who she had an older son of her own, but she lived with me and my mom and my dad and my sister. And she was someone who watched over me early in my life. So she was like a surrogate mother, like another mother in the house to me. And I was her pride and joy. Like I was that dude for her. And she died of a broken heart because she had lupus. But what happened was my grandmother, her mother, my mom's mom, had AIDS like in 95, 96. She got AIDS from a blood transfusion gone wrong. Matter of fact, on my arm, you can't see it. I gotta redo the red part, but I have a ribbon that's red. It's supposed to be red. I gotta redo it, and it has my grandmother's name on it. Because what happened was she was sick. She was up north from Haiti to hang out, and she was feeling a little under the weather. So she went she went to the hospital, and they said, "Oh yeah, you're low on blood. You need a blood transfusion." Lo and behold, they gave her tainted blood. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sidebar, my mom and all my aunts, they went through like a decade and a half in their youth without my grandmother because my grandfather and grandmother split up in the 70s. So my mom and aunts went to Africa first because they were teachers in Haiti, and I guess Haiti was French. So in West Africa, there's French-speaking countries. So they were all teachers. So they went to Africa a little bit to get money, like teaching, and then they went to Brooklyn to live. So in that split, my mom didn't have my grandmother for years. She missed out a lot. So it was a split. And then in the 80s into the 90s, they reconnected. So my mom was very happy in the early 90s. Like, yo, my mom is back in my life. We're on and popping. I got kids now. Meet my kids. And my grandmother was awesome. My grandmother was my grandmother. And so when that happened, I watched my mom take the news about my grandmother's AIDS, and I watched her grieve. I had to grieve as a young grandchild, and then I saw my aunt grieve.
Wait, side note, did y'all sue that hospital?
We didn't, and whenever I tell the story, people are like, "You are bugging. Y'all are bugging."
That is a major freaking lawsuit.
And it is, and I guess my mom and dad, they're at that time they're still immigrants minded, and immigrant minded people. Like your mom, your family's from Puerto Rico, so you have to understand that this. When people are from the islands, they sometimes don't have the courage to seek out legislation or legalities or whatever. They just say they take it on the chin, even tragedy. sadly enough. With that being said, my aunt, she took it hard as hell too. My aunt who had lupus, to the point where like she stopped taking her medication. She was like, "Fuck it, I'm over it." My mom died.
Yeah, that's so sad.
So for me yesterday, I'm in the room hanging out where my aunt used to live in, and I was just grieving like, "Damn, this is fucked up, man. She should be here. It's fucked up what happened." And she died of a broken heart, basically. And then, so that's the harsh part of grieving as far as real life, like death, life and death grieving. But I've also known that there's other types of grieving. You can grieve a relationship. You can grieve a friendship. You can grieve, just someone that you're missing or whatever, or that you've broken up with. Have you ever had moments in your life where you've had to grieve a failed situation, whether it's a relationship, a friendship? And if so, how do you grieve? What are the ways to grieve that you?
I've definitely grieved over certain relationships, friendships, and things like that. It depends on the situation, but overall, I would say just keeping myself busy and keeping myself like out of the loop, in a sense of like just not knowing what they're doing, who they're with, and all of that nonsense, and just staying in my own lane.
Like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you keep dwelling in that, you're just gonna stay in that situation. And, if things fall off, a lot of the times it's because it's meant to fall off. Some people are only meant to be in your life for a season,
Absolutely.
and it's growing pains. So you just have to deal with it in however way that you know of. But my personal way is, like I said, just out of sight, out of mind, keeping myself busy, focusing on myself, and not worrying about what's going on outside of my world.
It's funny you say that because in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I had to grieve a situation where it was like strong, where I had to take the long way home, from like a work, like late night working. Like I get out of my shift to go home. I take the long way home driving because, that person's house was on that route. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? And that was your way of coping. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, I'm like, I'm bugging. And I had to,
yeah, at a certain point, you have to realize that the hurt that you're doing it to yourself.
right, because what's done is done. What's done is done. You have to have that self-realization. Like, first of all, you gotta have a glass half full mentality. Like, she'll get better. First, I look at it like this. First, you gotta have that, you gotta grieve, you gotta be sad. Of course, it sucks. And
Uh-huh.
then eventually you gotta have a glass half full mentality of like, oh, things get better slowly. And then for me, I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, what I've learned is arrogance works. Arrogance works. Like eventually, you gotta look at the mirror and be like, yo, I'm that nigga. Like, I'm that dude. Like, fuck that.
Uh-huh.
Like, like, I'm the shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm ill. You know what I'm saying? In my own.
Uh-huh.
So I try to tell people all the time who go through similar situations, like, yo, you gotta have some arrogance in you. Some healthy, positive arrogance where you can like tell yourself, I'm good, I'm dope, I'm straight, like I'm ill. You know what I'm saying? And that might breed confidence in you. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think?
Uh-huh. No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I that's definitely one form of grieving. I think friendship grieving is interesting because sometimes, and I think this applies more to maybe your clan, to like ladies, but like I've seen situations where like people break up as far as friends, they split, and it causes like a rift and bad blood, and sometimes y'all don't know how to talk it out, and it's just like dead air, dead silence, and y'all don't have a chance to like sit down and look eye to eye and be like, yo, this is where I feel you fucked up. This is where I fucked up. We need to come together or whatever, or we just let it go. Me personally, as a guy, I've had friends, and I have a daughter who's 18, so I try to tell her this to how to. The people who you thought were your friends at 18, they're usually not around no more.
Uh-uh.
They usually are not around
Uh-uh.
anymore. And you have to be okay with that. I can think of Terrell, Christian, Jack. I'm saying this positively because these are still good people in my life, good people. But I know a whole host of people that if you saw me 25 to 30 years ago, these were like ace boom coons. Like, these are my people, these are my guys, these are my dudes. Like, my mom could feed them, you know what I'm saying? And now it's like, I don't know what they're doing with their life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's people like that in my life too, that they were, I don't want to say major, but they were a big part of my life where it was like that. And then things just drifted and that's it.
Yeah, sometimes things drift, and it's not even like it's not even like it's always contentious or it's like negative or like or something drastic happened. But some people drift, like you said,
You grow apart.
you grow apart. Or some people are seasons, and
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to when it comes to grieving properly, you have to allow yourself to know that some people were seasons. Now, for me, I think the hardest way to test that measure is going to be when down the line, God forbid, anytime soon down the road, when it comes to extensions of my family, like, you know, like my mom or my pops, that's gonna be the true test. Cause like, I always tell people the story, like when my grandmother died on my dad's side back in '09, when she died, when my dad's mom died, I remember being at work. I worked at a call center at the time. So I'm on my call center tip. By the way, don't work at a call center. Don't work one of
Mm-hmm.
those cubicles. No, that's an annoying ass job to have. It's terrible. But when I was working at one, I remember getting on Facebook, mind you, early Facebook, I see a thing saying, "Oh, rest in peace, she did it," or "Rest in peace." I'm like, my grandma's did it. So I'm like, hold up. And the night before, we had to visit her in the hospital because my dad was like, "Yo, it ain't looking good. Someone's wrong with her kidney. She was on dialysis. It ain't looking good. It's not looking good." I said, "Shit." So we said my goodbyes then, and then the following afternoon or morning, you saw posts going up. And so that was a crappy way to find out your grandmother's died, by the way.
Yeah.
But so then I see my phone buzzing from my dad. I said, here it comes. So all right, I'll meet you at her house, at my grandmother's house. When I went to my grandmother's crib to meet my dad there, mind you, this is my dad is the oldest person, her oldest child, and my dad was a loyalist to my grandmother. Like it could be like late night, any time of the day. If my grandmother calls and say, "Yo, I need some food. I need some," he would get in the car. I'll be right back. Or come with me. Let's go get some food for your grandmother. Or any little errand, he would do it for. He didn't.
Uh-huh.
So when that happened, I remember leaving work, going to meet my dad, and I meet him at my grandma's apartment. And I'm like, he's like, "Yo, I need you to help me clean out her apartment. You know, we only have so much time for the landlord to allow us to do this. So I got you." I said, "Well," I said, "Yo, before we start," I said, "Do you need anything from me? Are you okay? Are you all right?" And he told me, he was like, he says, "I'll grieve. I'll have my time." He told me that I will have my time to go over what happened, but not right now. And I said, "Why not?" He says, "Because no one else can do this job that we got to do right now. Like there's a time and a place for everything. And right now, you know, she, even in her absence, needs us to hold her down. So, you know, but there's no time right now to just boo hoo at this moment."
Uh-huh.
And I learned that day is like sometimes when it comes to grieving, whether it's death or any situation, there has to be a moment where you say to yourself, "Get shit done. Let's just push forward." You know what I'm saying? That not only you deny yourself the opportunity to process things, but also you do have to keep pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I learned that. I learned that per se from him. But I also want to ask you a question about you in particular and your spiritual journey, since you brought up karma and stuff like that, because you shared with me not too long ago that you've been on a health and spiritual kick,
Uh-huh.
and you've been, I would say, abstaining,
Uh-huh.
and you've been, well, not that abstaining, not the other abstaining, just not that. I don't know about that. I'm sure that you're fine. That's nothing. I'm
The
talking
recreational stuff.
recreational stuff, you know. And can you share some insight into where you were to where you are and where you're going in that respect?
So, I've been in the gym heavy.
Yes, you have.
My diet has changed completely. I stopped doing fast food. I
Really?
haven't had McDonald's in probably like almost 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. Cause it just makes sense. Like, don't go spend $15, $16 for a fast food spot that's literally poison when you could spend probably the same, maybe even a couple dollars less to buy real food that's actually nutritious and good for you. But anyways, so I've been hitting the gym, eating healthier, and I felt like That's something I was doing for 14 years. And, for a while, I was like, okay, like, I think this is something I no longer want to do, for a couple reasons. One, it just wasn't doing the same thing it was doing for me when I was younger. It's an expense.
Mm.
I was waking up real groggy and, things like that. And just like, it just wasn't doing the same things for me as it did before. So this past Sunday, it's made a month that I stopped doing that. And I don't know, I've been feeling better. I've been feeling good, more energized. I wake up happy. I wake up to my first alarm and I'm like, okay, I'm up, as opposed to constantly snoozing. I
Mm.
have more time for myself in the morning.
Mhm.
I'm actually in the gym a lot longer now. Now I'm in the gym for like 2 hours. Before, I was only doing like 45 minutes to like an hour and 5 minutes. So, I've seen a lot of changes. And the fact that other people have noticed without me even saying anything spoke volumes to me. So, I'm living this healthy lifestyle and, doing things differently.
It's funny you said that you have more energy now in the gym. Man, that kind of is an indictment of the some of the negative effects of it, uh, of Mary Jane, where, like you said, it makes you groggy. In fact, you kind of said that recently your mom kind of noticed it.
Yeah, so I was over at my parents' house this weekend and I was sitting with my mom and my dad and we were just talking. And I just said, I was like, oh, like, by the way, this past Sunday made a month that like I stopped smoking. And then my mom looked at me and she goes, I knew it. And I'm like, what you mean? And she's like, oh, because I stopped smelling it on you. And then I was like, damn, like, it turned me on in the sense that it made me happy, but then it turned me off because it's like, damn, like, I was really out here just smelling like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's not, it's not something I want to be smelling like. It's not very, I don't want to say ladylike because I'm not trying to, shun anybody else
Right.
or whatever, or, but me now, who I am now, that's not what I want to be smelling like when I'm outside.
Sometimes the people we love the most, when they share something about us that was tough to hear, it's influential on I guess how to reflect on it and where we should be going. It's always tough to hear someone be, even if they weren't being critical about you, they just
Mm-hmm.
share something that can be seen as critical or felt as critical. But it's also medicine to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, because she didn't say it like in a judgy. She was like, oh, like, yeah, I stopped smelling it on you. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Interesting. Interesting. I like your mom, by the way. She's cool. Yeah, I can definitely empathize with that because, like you said, the cost is crazy to
Mm-hmm.
keep up with
Mm-hmm.
that kind of habit.
Especially like if you do it with friends and stuff like that, it goes way faster than it's like, oh, I'm out again. Now I need to go cop again.
Would you? I'm glad you said that phrase. Need to go cop again. Would you say is there an addictive component to it in general? Do you think there is? So some people debate that. Some people debate if it is or isn't.
I feel like it depends on your personality. Me, for one, I do not have an addictive personality. So I was never like addicted to it. Like I didn't stop cold turkey, but I kind of did. Like I mentally prepared myself like, okay, this is something I want to do after this last. That's it. I'm not getting any more. And then when it came to that point, that was it.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm still around people that do it.
Of course.
And
All love.
I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I will take a
Yeah, yeah.
stronger inhale when I'm around.
Some nice air out
But
there.
right, but as me like saying, yo, pass it to me.
Like that's some nice air out there. Yeah, I can also on a macro level, I can understand and empathize what it's like to kick a bad habit or a habit that's just like got a hold on you. Uh, it could be tough, and it requires discipline. And what I'm realizing now is discipline is such a valuable but tough thing to accomplish. You know,
Uh-huh.
like recently since like Christmas time, I've been steadily at least 3 times a week trying to hit the gym, trying to stay on top of myself. I got school as well, grad school, so it's hard sometimes, especially like with this week I got midterms, so it's hard to fit in the time, especially with the kids and all. But I try my best to hit at least 3 to 4 times a week.
It's a matter of routine.
Yeah, and it's crazy, like with the gym. What I like about the gym is when you do start to go consistently after a while, you feel guilty as hell if there's a day you can't make it. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck, I couldn't make it today. And
Yeah.
you guilt trip yourself over it. And I think that's a good guilt
Mm-hmm.
trip. That's a good positive
Oh
guilt.
yeah, for sure. Like just last week, I went 6 days in a row.
You were telling me
I
that.
went Sunday through Friday.
And you weren't sore as hell? You weren't
Oh no, Saturday and Sunday, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm staying. I'm not doing that.
hurt?
But I was back today, and I felt good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, you are definitely someone who's influential in me starting up since this past Christmas, going back to the gym because your dedication. And in fact, I also appreciated you vocalizing and articulating to me your intention to stop smoking, because you did something that was very mature. You openly articulated it, which made you hold yourself accountable to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people have thoughts in their head like, maybe I should stop doing this, maybe I should stop doing that. But then they don't really follow through because they weren't declarative about it. They didn't declare it. But you
Mm-hmm.
but you declared it to yourself and then to probably other people you trusted, like me, for instance. So I respect that. I respect when someone puts themselves out there vulnerable and says, I'm doing this, I'm changing this, I'm evolving in this way. Because then you're making now me in a way have to hold you accountable otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even though, by the way, listen, I'm the type of person where I understand when people like fall off or take a break or take a misstep because we're all
It
human.
happens.
It happens. Listen, there's been times in my life where I was like 222, 233, headed, muscles, trapezoid, all that stuff. But then I was like, I need a burger right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand sometimes we fall and we come, you know what I'm saying? We fall, but the important thing is to get back up. You know what I'm saying? So,
And picking up healthier habits. Because I feel like because I stopped doing that and I've been more in the gym, that's why I've been more consistent as well. And then also like discipline and like small things. Like for instance, I hate washing the fucking dishes.
mm,
I hate it. And there will be times where I would just leave the dishes overnight and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, like I need to stop doing this because then in the mornings, that's not what I want to wake up to. And it's more annoying in the morning to have yesterday's dishes in the sink. So just little things like that. So now I'm to the point where I do not leave dishes overnight at all. Like I make sure like I get in the kitchen and just get it done. And there's little things like that that help you with, bigger things that you want to be disciplined on.
yeah, that's definitely a mental game where you have to like override your inclination to be lazy and say, I gotta do
Mm-hmm.
this. First of all, shout out to anybody who has a dishwasher. Fuck you. I'm hating.
I had one. I didn't like it in my old apartment.
Are you?
First of all, if you don't take care of it, that shit starts to stink.
Yeah. That makes.
Yeah, like
I
I
mean,
won't bow. Like, yeah, no. And then a lot of times they wouldn't even clean the dishes properly.
no.
Yeah, no.
So for you, it's dishes, and I can empathize with that too. But for me, what it really is, it's that damn laundry. Yo, yo,
I don't like the folding part.
when it comes to laundry and folding clothes, as we speak, I have laundry on my bed that I gotta like fold after we're done, and I'm dreading that shit. Like, oh my god, I just wanna lay in it. I just wanna just
Mm-hmm.
like sleep in it, but you gotta.
But that could be a form of discipline. Yeah, just try to get that mindset to switch
Mhm.
and just get it done. Because the reality of it is that it only takes like 20 minutes or so. Because that was my thing with the dishes. Like I would procrastinate, and then like as I started becoming more disciplined, I would look at the time and time myself, and I'm like, wait a minute, like I used to not do this when it only took me 8 minutes to get this done. It only took me 10 minutes to get this done.
Mhm. Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. You don't realize how fast you can accomplish something if you just stop complaining.
Mm-hmm.
You
That part.
don't realize how fast you can accomplish something if you just stop complaining. Just shut the hell.
Especially if you're not doing anything, like being on Instagram just scrolling.
Yo, think about how much time we waste, like not achieving our dreams because we want to be entertained instead.
Mm-hmm.
We hold ourselves back. I think we as
By
humans,
false information at that, because 90% of social media is bullshit.
you know, I, exactly, it's all bullshit anyway. So it's like, but we as humans, we are all entertained by the bullshit, and me and you definitely connect on a spiritual level because we always share things spiritual wise and cosmic wise. And I think one thing you might agree with me on is, I think as humans, we are the most advanced potential species. Like we have thumbs. We can create things. We can create inventions. We can, we can travel. We can, but I feel like also our ability to emote, to have emotions and to have laziness, it also holds us back when it comes to duty. Like think about a safari or a jungle somewhere. When there's a storm, all the species fall in line and they move to another place, another terrain, and there's like no arguments. There's not a lion arguing with the lion saying, "No, I'm not going that way. I'm going this way today." No, we all, a wolf pack in the woods, a wolf pack says, "You're the leader. I'm rocking with you. No ands or buts about it. We're not going to complain. Let's just move forward and get this thing done." But when it comes to humans, I feel like we just like have too much power in our brain where we're allowed to be irrational to the point it hurts us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's our downfall as humans. Like as awesome as we are, as much power we have and contain, it also comes to our detriment because we don't know how to sometimes just fall in line and do what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do what we got to do. We do what we want to do way more often than we do what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? That's just my point of view anyway. But anyway, I'm definitely proud of you and your journey.
Thank you.
Like I said, I commend you because I feel like you're inspiration as far as getting back in the gym, getting on your fitness bag, abstaining, getting some clarity and cleansing yourself. I think it speaks to the nature of trying to be self-progression, So when I asked you that question about, do you think it could be an addiction in general to like weed? I asked that because I agree with you. I do feel like it depends on if you have an addictive personality. Because I know people in my life who have addictive personalities and they don't do coke, they don't do heroin, they don't do anything like that, but they are weed. They're not weed connoisseurs, they're weed addicts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they can't go half an hour without rolling up. You go in their crib, it's just a big puff of smoke when you walk in their crib. It's like, yo, I can't even see my eyes. I can't. It's like, yo, bro, what's going on? And listen, we listen and we don't judge. So I'll never judge somebody how to spend their money, how to spend their time, and how to relax and unwind. I won't do that. But what I will say is, I do fear that a lot of us today, a lot of us are just like, we're wasting our time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're wasting our time as people, whether it's with recreational stuff like that, whether it's with lust. I think a lot of men I know waste their time with lust when they ignore love because they're too busy lusting, because that lust kind of satisfies some trauma they never healed from. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of times we, like I said earlier, we are too focused on what we want, which is what we need, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? Do you think as humans we're on the right path, or we still got a lot of growing up to do day to day with you and your peoples, yourself?
Like us and as ourselves or in general?
In general, but both.
Wait, repeat the question again?
No, I'm saying, like, do you feel like as a society, do you feel like we're headed down the right path as far as we're getting better as a society, where like we are becoming more progressive as far as we're becoming a better, more fruitful society, or do you think things are turning for the worse or just flat even?
I don't know. I can't really speak in general because I don't know what everybody else is doing, but all I know is what I'm doing, and I know I'm doing what I have to do to become a better person, and that's all I can really focus on.
Right. Nah, that's good, because you should be focused on yourself more than anybody else, because you can't help nobody else if you're not right within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I do feel like, I personally feel like I look at things in two ways. I look at things on a macro level and a micro level. So a macro level is like a big picture type of thing, like, whether it's a task that we're doing at work, whether it's whatever. Like, I always look at things like, what's the bigger picture and what are the details, the micro. And I feel like when it comes to us as a people, as a society, I feel like on a macro level, we are kind of going towards a dark turn. What I mean by that is, I feel like nowadays people are a lot less empathetic. Like, yo, I've been seeing people in the street lately argue. It's like they're arguing to like it's the end of the world. I see people like I see less people today being gentlemen and ladylike. You know what I'm saying? Like the other day I was at the park. I was at the park with my daughters, and there were some teenagers there. Mind you, it's like a park for like 2-year-olds it was like 2 through 5 or 2 through 7. So it's for little kids. But there were some teenagers there, right? Hanging out. They were like doing fake hair extensions on a bench. They were smoking. I had to tell them, yo, stop smoking. They were just being real funny style. I'm from an era, and I'm not saying my era didn't wild out too, but I'm from an era where like if an old lady got on the bus or train, or if an old lady came to the park, you cut back on her cursing a little bit. You cut back on
Out of respect.
out of respect. You would just like reshift your focus because someone else is in the room, or grown-ups in the room. Act accordingly. But nowadays, yo, these kids today, they feel like, fuck you. What you talking about? Like you.
Well, music plays a big influence on that too, but that's a whole other like conversation as well.
So you feel like it could be, oh, so what comes first, sugar or the egg? Do you feel like it's the arts, whether it's like music or elsewhere, that's influencing kids? Or is it the attitudes of the kids in the street that influence the arts?
I think
Or
it's the music, I think it's the environment, and I think it's the upbringing.
and you mentioned, and you brought up upbringing earlier. You're really big on upbringing, I see, because you mentioned that earlier too, as influence.
Yeah, because childhood trauma is what affects you in your adult years.
Childhood trauma is what affects you in your adult years. I agree with that for sure. I definitely agree with the fact that, you know, what you did or didn't get when you're younger, it'll come
Mm-hmm.
back. It'll come back to haunt you or your life as you get older. Well, let me ask you, if you can share anything, what do you think is something from your childhood? What do you think is something from your childhood that's either a trauma or something that you, not maybe specifically in detail experience, but just like overall, like, what do you think is like a theme or something from like your childhood or through trauma that you feel like either positively or negatively affected you? For instance, like I said, I'll get personal because I don't mind. So it's for me. This is me talking. Like I said earlier, my mom was tough. She was mad strict, and my mom was the violent one in the crib. She was the one that would whoop your ass. Like if there was the Olympics and ass whoopings, like she's gold medalist. Like here's my gold medal. Like she was ill. She was dope, and like she was able to like lay the law down. My dad, his way of parenting was, I'm gonna make you feel my disappointment in you, and that's just gonna bother you. It's gonna, you know, like he had a way of like parenting with like his words, his emotions, and he was able to let you know, I'm disappointed in you. That's not right what you did, and for that, I don't fuck with you right now. And that would hurt me more than the ass whooping. Like, damn, I broke him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, I fucked up. How do I get his respect back? You know? So I had the balance, but my mom's trauma, yo, it definitely. But my mom's parenting, as great of a mother she is, she's awesome, by the way. There's so much great that she did for me. And that great stuff she sacrificed for me. But I will say, when it comes to like my temper, I know I get my temper from my mom. Like I'll be able to catch myself when I get heated. Like, hold up, like woof, woosah. You know what I'm saying? And remember, I have the father part in me, the influence where I have the tools and the skill set to redirect myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where some dudes didn't have that. They had only one parent, man or woman, who was like a tyrant or tough, and they didn't learn the other part of life, how to calm down, how to reassess yourself. So I recognize with me, like I got to make sure I relax because, you know, I see sometimes my mother's bad habits in me. Tell you what, why don't we take a break right now, and then we'll find a way to edit this and put it out, and then we'll come back for a part 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so I tell you what, it's getting late. You gotta do your thing, which I want you to do. So why don't you get to it, and then in the near future you'll come back for a part 2, and we'll pick the ball running. We'll pick it up and keep running on what we're discussing, and we'll talk about other stuff too. We'll have more fun.
All
So,
right. No, but let's like put
a
like
bow,
a way to end this.
well, you want to put a bow on it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, Cyn. I thank you so much for coming through this evening. You had a good time. We had a good
Thank
time.
you for having me. I know this is something we've been talking about for a long time.
Right. And you were the brave one. All right. You know, you came on and not like other people, Jocelyn. And we'll be back soon. So thank you for coming to the break room. Anything you want to say before you go? Anything you want to say?
No, I enjoyed myself. This was cool. It was a good time. We got to, because these are conversations we have on a regular, but now it's just recorded.
Now it's just recorded. Yeah. Yeah. And so like I said, thank you for coming. I appreciate you. All I ask is to keep your laptop open so your vocals can upload properly.
Okay.
And then do your thing, and I'll text you later with all the details. All right.
All right, cool.
Anyway, thank you for coming to the break room. I'll catch you next time. Later.
Later.
Later. Later.